There are moments when nature takes your breath away. Untamed, powerful, unreal, from the highest peaks on Earth to places so hidden few have ever seen them. This planet holds secrets beyond imagination. This is not another world. This is ours. Welcome to Unreal Planet, where nature reveals its most beautiful, powerful, and mysterious wonders. Our first destination lies in the Gulf of Tonkin, a place where myth and reality intertwine in a spectacle of sublime beauty. This is Ha Long Bay. The name translates to descending dragon, and it is easy to see why legends were born here. Nearly 2,000 limestone casts and islets, sculpted by millennia of wind and water, rise vertically from the tranquil emerald sea. From afar, the limestone islands rise dramatically from emerald waters, resembling mythical creatures frozen in stone. Around every corner, a new vista unfolds, a hidden cove, a secluded sandy beach, or a vast cathedral-like cave adorned with stalactites and stalagmites that have been growing drip by silent drip for countless centuries. According to Vietnamese folklore, the bay was created by dragons sent from heaven to defend the land from invaders. The dragons, spitting jewels and jade, formed the islands and islets that today protect the coastline. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1994 for its exceptional scenic beauty and later in 2000 for its geological and geomorphological significance, Ha Long Bay has captivated travelers, scientists and storytellers alike. We now travel west to the mountainous heart of Croatia, to a place where water is the master artist. This is Plitvice Lakes National Park. Often described as a living watercolor painting, it is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1979. Here, 16 terraced lakes, their colors shifting from the deepest azure to brilliant turquoise and vibrant green, are linked by a series of spectacular waterfalls and cascades. The magic of the park lies in a continuous process of creation. The water, rich in dissolved calcium carbonate, flows over limestone and chalk, creating natural dams and barriers that grow millimetre by millimetre, year by year. Wooden boardwalks meander through this aquatic paradise, carrying you over the crystalline waters, so clear you can see fallen trees resting on the lakebed, preserved for decades in the mineral-rich environment. Each season brings its own unique palette to the lakes. In spring, the falls are at their most powerful, fed by melting snow. In summer, the canopy is lush and deep green. Autumn sets the surrounding woods ablaze with fiery colours, and in winter, the scene transforms into a frozen fairy tale. Our journey now takes us 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador to a remote volcanic archipelago that fundamentally changed our understanding of life on Earth. These are the Galapagos Islands. Born of violent volcanic eruptions from the seabed, this isolated collection of islands became a unique living laboratory for evolution. It was here that a young naturalist, Charles Darwin, observed the subtle yet profound differences among the local wildlife, leading him to formulate his groundbreaking theory of natural selection. This is a world where animals have no innate fear of humans, allowing for encounters of a uniquely intimate nature. Here, you can witness giant tortoises, marine iguanas congregating on volcanic rocks, and blue-footed boobies performing their comical courtship dance. The waters surrounding the Galapagos are as rich as the land, where cold, nutrient-rich currents meet warmer tropical waters, creating a marine environment teeming with life. To visit the Galapagos is to step back in time, to witness the processes of nature unfolding as they have for millennia. It is a powerful, humbling experience, a living museum of evolution that underscores the beautiful, intricate interconnectedness of all life. Our journey now leads us to the heart of southern Africa, to the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe, where the mighty Zambezi River puts on one of the planet's most spectacular displays of raw power. Known locally as Mosi Oatunya, the smoke that thunders, this is Victoria Falls. Long before you see the falls, you can hear their roar and see the column of mist that rises hundreds of meters into the air. This is not the highest nor the widest waterfall in the world, but it is classified as the largest based on its combined width of 1,700 meters or 5,500 feet and height of more than 100 meters or 328 feet, forming the largest single sheet of falling water anywhere on Earth. During the peak flood season, over 500 million cubic meters of water per minute plummet over the basalt cliff edge into the chasm below. The air is thick with spray, and constant rainbows form and dissolve in the mist, arching across the chasm in brilliant displays of colour. For the more adventurous, one can swim in the Devil's Pool, a natural rock pool right on the very edge of the precipice. Looking down into the boiling abyss from this vantage point is a heart-stopping, humbling moment. Victoria Falls is a primal force of nature, a place of overwhelming power and majesty that commands respect and leaves an indelible impression of Earth's untamed spirit. We now travel to North America, to the state of Arizona, to witness a chasm so vast it challenges our sense of scale and perception. This is the Grand Canyon. Carved over millions of years by the relentless power of the Colorado River, this colossal gorge is a 1,800 meters or 6,000 feet deep, up to 29 kilometers or 18 miles wide, and stretches for 446 kilometers or 277 miles. It is not merely a canyon, it is a magnificent open book of Earth's history, its pages written in layers of ancient rock. Each layer tells a story of a different geological era. The oldest rocks at the bottom, the Vishnu schist, are nearly 2 billion years old, almost half the age of the Earth itself. As you look up through the layers, you are looking forward through time. The colours are what truly mesmerize. Layers of red, orange, yellow and purple rock shift and change with the light, creating a dynamic masterpiece that is never the same from one moment to the next. To truly appreciate the canyon, you must descend into it. Hiking down the steep trails, the perspective changes dramatically. The world of the rim disappears, replaced by the towering walls of the inner gorge. The Grand Canyon is a monumental sculpture, a testament to the patient, inexorable power of water and time, and a place of deep silence and profound beauty. We return to Europe, to the northern Italian Alps, to a mountain range of such unique and breathtaking beauty that it has been called the most beautiful mountain architecture in the world. These are the Dolomites. Their name comes from the carbonate rock, dolomite, which gives the mountains their characteristic pale colour. But it is at sunrise and sunset that their true magic is revealed, when the rock faces are set ablaze in fiery shades of pink, orange and red, a phenomenon known as enrosadera. The peaks of the Dolomites are unlike any other in the Alps. They are not the classic pointed horns, but rather a dramatic collection of towers, pinnacles and sheer vertical walls that rise abruptly from gentle rolling green meadows below. This is a landscape that invites exploration. In summer, a network of trails winds through lush alpine pastures, dotted with wildflowers and traditional wooden huts, leading to high-altitude passes with staggering views. In winter, a blanket of snow transforms the Dolomites into a pristine paradise for skiers and snowshoers. The sharp, pale peaks stand in stark contrast against the deep blue sky, creating a scene of crisp, cold beauty. Whether cloaked in the green of summer or the white of winter, the Dolomites possess a monumental, sculptural quality. They are a testament to the immense forces that shape our planet, a place where the sublime power of geology is on full, glorious display. Our journey now takes us back to Africa, to the highlands of northern Tanzania, to a place that has been called the eighth wonder of the world and Africa's Garden of Eden. This is the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, and at its heart lies the Ngorongoro crater. This is the world's largest intact and unfilled volcanic caldera, formed some 2 to 3 million years ago when a giant volcano, likely larger than Mount Kilimanjaro, collapsed in on itself. What remains is a vast natural amphitheatre. The crater floor has become a self-contained ecosystem, a sanctuary for one of the densest concentrations of large animals found anywhere on the African continent. This is one of the best places on Earth to witness the incredible spectacle of African wildlife. Huge herds of wildebeest and zebra graze on the open plains, while Thompson's gazelles spring gracefully through the grass. The crater is home to a significant population of the endangered black rhinoceros. The crater is also renowned for its large population of predators. Lions, a particularly large and robust population, lounge in the shade or survey their kingdom from grassy knolls. Spotted hyenas are ever present, their calls echoing across the plains at dusk. To be on the floor of the Ngorongoro crater is to be a privileged observer of the raw, unfiltered drama of life and death, a place where the circle of life plays out every day in one of the most magnificent natural settings on the planet. For our next destination, we travel to the majestic spine of North America, to a vast wilderness that spans the border of Alberta and British Columbia in Canada. The Canadian Rocky Mountain Parks are a collection of contiguous national and provincial parks, including Banff, Jasper, Kootenay, and Yoho. Together, they form a breathtaking landscape of monumental scale, a world of jagged ice-capped peaks, vast glaciers, and impossibly turquoise lakes. The mountains here are raw and powerful, their sharp peaks carved by the immense power of ancient glaciers. These same glaciers still exist today, clinging to the high slopes and filling vast ice fields like the Columbia Icefield, a remnant of the last ice age. The meltwater from these glaciers is rich in fine rock flour, which remains suspended in the water of the region's lakes, refracting the sunlight to create their signature vivid turquoise and emerald colors. Lakes like Lake Louise and Moraine Lake are world famous for this very reason. Their stunningly colored waters, set against a backdrop of soaring, snow-dusted peaks and dark green coniferous forests, create scenes of almost surreal beauty. This vast area is also a critical habitat for a rich array of North American wildlife. Grizzly bears and black bears roam the valleys. Herds of elk and bighorn sheep graze on the mountain slopes, and moose wade through the wetlands. The Canadian Rockies are more than just beautiful scenery. They are a vital living ecosystem and a powerful testament to the wild, untamed beauty of the northern world. Rising from the Arabian Sea like a forgotten world, Socotra Island has often been described as the most alien-looking place on Earth. Located about 380 kilometers or 236 miles south of Yemen's mainland, this remote island is part of an archipelago so unique that nearly one-third of its plant life exists nowhere else on the planet. Socotra separated from the African mainland roughly 6 million years ago, giving evolution free rein to shape its flora and fauna in extraordinary ways. The island's isolation has allowed life to flourish under bizarre conditions: intense heat, fierce winds, and sparse rainfall. These extremes have produced adaptations so strange they seem almost extraterrestrial. Towering above the rocky plateaus stands Socotra's most famous inhabitant, the dragon's blood tree. Its umbrella-shaped crown, gnarled branches, and blood-red sap evoke images of another planet. Ancient civilizations once prized this resin for medicine, dye, and incense, giving rise to its mythic name. Socotra's otherworldly beauty has not gone unnoticed. UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site in 2008, recognizing its ecological and cultural significance. From an isolated island, we travel to a place that looks as if it has been torn from the surface of Mars. In Andalusia, Spain, lies the Rio Tinto, the Red River. For nearly 5,000 years, humans have mined the Rio Tinto basin for copper, gold, silver and iron. But the river's otherworldly colours are not the result of mining alone. They stem from natural geochemical processes that have unfolded over millions of years. Rainwater seeps through sulfide-rich rocks, leaching out iron and heavy metals. These minerals oxidize, turning the water into a cocktail of acids and metallic salts. The result is a blood-red river, acidic enough to dissolve metal, and yet somehow teeming with microscopic life. Scientists have discovered thriving colonies of extremophiles, microorganisms that feed on iron and sulfur in the river. These microbes not only survive, but shape the environment itself, producing the very chemical reactions that keep the water red and toxic. Because the river's conditions resemble those believed to exist on Mars, NASA and the European Space Agency have studied Rio Tinto as an analogue site for extraterrestrial life. The rocks and minerals here share striking similarities with Martian terrain, making Rio Tinto a training ground for astrobiologists and planetary rovers alike. Our journey takes us to Madagascar, and a landscape so treacherous it's called the place where one cannot walk barefoot. Rising like a jagged ocean of stone in Singidabemaraha National Park, vast limestone spires pierce the sky, stretching for miles in every direction. Sharp, grey and otherworldly. From above, the landscape resembles a petrified forest. These natural rock formations can reach heights of up to 70 metres or 230 feet, creating an intricate maze of vertical cliffs, canyons and deep crevices. The Singi was born more than 200 million years ago, when ancient seas deposited thick layers of limestone and coral. Over millennia, tectonic activity lifted these layers skyward, and rainwater began to sculpt them, dissolving rock, carving fissures, and shaping the fantastic spires that exist today. This relentless erosion produced one of the most complex karst landscapes on Earth, a three-dimensional maze of cliffs, towers and caverns, interspersed with hidden valleys and underground rivers. The result is a natural fortress that feels almost alive, an alien cathedral of stone. We now travel to the Andes in Bolivia, to a landscape of infinite shimmering flatness. This is the Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt flat. The landscape was born from prehistoric lakes that evaporated thousands of years ago, leaving behind vast crusts of pure, gleaming salt. From above, it appears like a white ocean frozen in time, cracked into perfect geometric patterns that stretch as far as the eye can see. During the rainy season, a thin layer of water transforms Salar de Uyuni into the world's largest mirror. The sky and ground merge seamlessly, making it impossible to tell where Earth ends and the heavens begin. It's a phenomenon so surreal that many call it the border between reality and infinity. Even when dry, Salar de Uyuni retains its otherworldly aura. The ground forms natural hexagons, patterns caused by the crystallization of salt under pressure and heat. At night, Sala de Uyuni transforms again, this time into a cosmic mirror for the Milky Way. Under the high-altitude sky, untouched by light pollution, stars blaze in perfect symmetry across the mirrored ground. It's as if you're standing between two galaxies. On certain nights in the Maldives, the shoreline begins to sparkle, not with moonlight or starlight, but with a mysterious electric blue glow that seems to pulse with life. This is Vadu Island's glowing beach, one of the most otherworldly natural spectacles on Earth. This phenomenon, often called the Sea of Stars, is caused by microscopic organisms known as bioluminescent phytoplankton, specifically dinoflagellates. When disturbed by waves, footsteps or movement, they emit a soft neon blue light. A defense mechanism that startles predators and enchants humans alike. The glow is a product of chemistry as much as beauty. Inside each dinoflagellate, a molecule called luciferin reacts with oxygen in the presence of an enzyme, luciferase, producing light, much like a firefly does. The glowing beach can appear on several islands across the Maldives, but Vadu is the most famous. The phenomenon tends to occur from June to December, when the waters are calm and plankton blooms are most active. We travel to East Java, Indonesia, to a land of fire and ash, a landscape that is truly primordial. The most famous cone is Mount Bromo, an active volcano. Its steady exhalation is a constant reminder of the immense power churning beneath. Mount Bromo stands at 2,329 metres or 7,641 feet within the Tenga caldera, a vast ancient crater spanning 10 kilometres or 6 miles across. The caldera is surrounded by sheer cliffs and filled with an expanse known as the Sea of Sand, a desert of fine volcanic ash that stretches for miles, broken only by smouldering vents and rippling dunes. When the morning mist rolls across the basin, it blurs the boundary between earth and sky. Peaks rise from the haze like islands in an ash-grey ocean, their slopes glowing orange under the first light of day. Bromo is one of Indonesia's most active volcanoes, erupting dozens of times over the past century. It is a living monument to geology, to culture, and to the eternal dance between destruction and rebirth. We journey now to the arid wilderness of southern Jordan. This is Wadi Rum, the Valley of the Moon. A landscape so profoundly red it has stood in for Mars in countless films. Spread across nearly 720 square kilometres or 278 square miles, Wadi Rum is a geological masterpiece, an immense desert valley carved by wind, water and time. Its fiery hues of red, gold and ochre, along with its monumental cliffs, have earned it comparisons to the surface of Mars. Erosion has sculpted the sandstone and granite mountains into surreal forms, narrow gorges, natural bridges and mushroom-shaped rocks rising from the desert floor. At dawn and dusk, the colours shift dramatically, from deep crimson to violet, from copper to pale silver, creating one of the most otherworldly light shows on Earth. At night, under one of the clearest skies on Earth, the desert transforms again. Thousands of stars spill across the black sky, and the Milky Way arcs overhead with dazzling clarity. The desert has served as the backdrop for some of cinema's most stunning depictions of alien worlds, including The Martian, Dune, and Prometheus. In the middle of Nevada's vast, sunburned desert stands a surreal burst of colour and steam. This is Fly Geyser, one of the most bizarre and beautiful accidents in nature. A place where geology and human chance combined to create something truly out of this world. In 1916, a ranch owner drilled a well in search of irrigation water. They struck a geothermal pocket, water heated by the Earth's crust. But the well was soon abandoned when the scalding temperature made it unusable. Decades later, in 1964, another well was drilled nearby. This time, the pressure of the geothermal water found a weak spot in the well casing, and superheated water began to erupt. Over time, the mineral-rich water deposited layers of travertine and thermophilic algae, building up the striking, cone-shaped structure we see today, a growing, living sculpture of colour and heat. The geyser's appearance is unlike anything else on Earth. Standing about 12 feet or 4 meters tall, it constantly ejects hot water, up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees Celsius, from multiple vents, creating a network of terraces and pools that glisten with vibrant hues. The geyser continuously changes shape as minerals deposit new layers year after year. The result is a living monument to the unpredictable artistry of nature. We now travel to Namibia, to a place of stark, haunting beauty, hidden amongst the world's tallest dunes. This is Dedvlei, the Dead Marsh. Dedvlei sits within the famous Sossusvlei region, an expanse of the Namib Desert, the world's oldest desert, dating back over 55 million years. Surrounded by towering sand dunes, some rising over 300 meters or 980 feet tall, the pan itself is a dried-up clay basin that once held water from the Sorchab River. Centuries ago, seasonal floods created shallow pools where camel thorn trees thrived. But then the climate shifted. Drought reclaimed the land, and sand dunes sealed off the river's path, cutting off the water supply forever. The trees died, yet they never decayed. In the dry desert air, there is no moisture for decomposition. What remains are blackened, skeletal trees, preserved by the relentless sun, standing like shadows frozen in eternity. There is no sound in Dedvlei, no bird song, no rustle of leaves, not even wind on most days. The silence is absolute. Standing there, you feel suspended in time, surrounded by monuments to a world long vanished. Deep in northern Ethiopia, at the edge of the Great Rift Valley, lies the Danakil Depression, a landscape so harsh and surreal that it's often called the most alien place on Earth. The Danakil is one of the lowest, driest and hottest regions on the planet. Sitting about 125 meters, or 410 feet, below sea level, it regularly records temperatures above 50 degrees Celsius or 122 degrees Fahrenheit, even in the shade. Rain is almost non-existent, and yet the area teems with vibrant colour and violent energy. It lies within the Afar Triangle, a geological hotspot where three tectonic plates, the African, Arabian and Somali, are slowly pulling apart. As the Earth's crust fractures and thins, magma rises close to the surface, giving birth to volcanoes, lava lakes and boiling springs. Scientists believe that millions of years from now, this area will sink even further, eventually becoming part of a new ocean basin as the African continent continues to rift. Nestled in Hunan province, China, Tianmen Mountain National Park stands as a majestic gateway to the heavens. Rising 5,000 feet, or 1,524 meters above sea level, this awe-inspiring natural wonder has earned its title as the closest Earth landmark to God. The crown jewel of Tianmen Mountain is undoubtedly Tianmen Cave or Heaven's Gate, a colossal natural arch that pierces through solid rock. At 430 feet or 131 meters high and 187 feet or 57 meters wide, it holds the distinction of being the world's highest naturally formed arch. The journey to Heaven's Gate requires climbing exactly 999 steps, a number carefully chosen for its significance in Chinese culture, where 9 represents good fortune and eternity. The mountain offers spectacular vantage points accessible via the world's longest passenger cableway, stretching over 24,000 feet or 7,455 meters, with a height differential of 4,200 feet or 1,279 meters. As the cable car glides over the mountain, you'll witness the remarkable 99 Bends Road, a serpentine path that winds its way up the mountainside. Upon reaching the summit, visitors are greeted by a network of cliff-hugging walkways that offer breathtaking panoramas. Here, the vistas are nothing short of spectacular. In the heart of the American Southwest, where the sky meets the earth in a breathtaking embrace, lies Monument Valley. Rising dramatically from the desert floor, these sandstone masterpieces tower up to 1,000 feet or 305 meters into the sky, creating one of America's most iconic landscapes. Located on the Arizona-Utah border within the Navajo Nation, Monument Valley isn't just a destination, it's a journey through time. Here, majestic buttes, mesas, and rock formations tell a story millions of years in the making. Wind and water have sculpted this land into a series of breathtaking formations, each with its own unique character and charm. As you stand at the edge of this vast expanse, you can't help but feel a sense of awe. The sweeping vistas, the vibrant colors, and the sheer scale of it all are nothing short of mesmerizing. It's no wonder that Monument Valley has become a symbol of the American West, capturing the imagination of artists, filmmakers, and adventurers alike. But Monument Valley is more than just a pretty picture. It's a living, breathing landscape, deeply rooted in the culture and traditions of the Navajo people. For centuries, the Navajo have called this land home, and their connection to it is evident in every rock and ridge. Visitors are welcome to explore this sacred land, but always with respect and reverence for its history and significance. Hidden in the Atlantic Ocean, nearly halfway between Europe and North America, lies a magical archipelago, the Azores, an autonomous region of Portugal. Born of volcanic activity, these 9 islands brim with dramatic calderas, steaming hot springs, black sand beaches, and crater lakes that shimmer in shades of emerald and sapphire. One of the most breathtaking sights is Sete Cidades on São Miguel Island, a twin lake system nestled in a massive volcanic crater, with one lake a deep blue and the other a vivid green, separated only by a narrow bridge. Each island in the Azores has its own unique personality. Pico Island is crowned by Portugal's highest peak, Mount Pico, a majestic stratovolcano that seems to rise straight from the ocean. Terceira is home to Algar do Carvão, a lava tube you can actually descend into, revealing otherworldly caverns covered in rare mineral formations. On Flores, waterfalls tumble down mossy cliffs into crystalline pools, and hydrangeas bloom like confetti across the landscape. What truly sets the Azores apart is how untouched they feel. With a population of only around 250,000 across all 9 islands, there's a profound sense of solitude and serenity. In a world increasingly shaped by technology and fast-paced living, the Azores offer something rare and precious: authenticity. In western Kyoto, Japan lies a place that seems almost otherworldly. It's the Arashiyama Bamboo Grove, a hidden gem of nature that enchants and mystifies everyone who steps into its serene embrace. As you walk along the 400-metre path, flanked by dried bamboo railings, you're immediately transported into a verdant cathedral of towering stalks. These are not just any bamboos, they are Moso bamboo, reaching dizzying heights of nearly 164 feet or 50 metres. The forest holds a distinct soundscape, one so special that Japan's Ministry of Environment has recognized it among the 100 soundscapes of Japan. Beyond its ethereal beauty, Arashiyama is deeply rooted in Japanese culture and Zen aesthetics. The grove lies near Tenryuji Temple, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the entire area has been a favorite retreat for nobles and poets since the Heian period from 794 to 1185. It's a place long associated with contemplation, calm and connection to nature. Just 6 miles outside the bustling city of Manaus in Brazil, nature puts on one of its most mesmerizing displays. Here, two mighty rivers meet yet refuse to blend together immediately. This natural phenomenon is known locally as Encontro das Aguas, or the meeting of waters. On one side we have the dark, mysterious Rio Negro. Its inky black appearance is not merely a trick of the light, but a result of decayed leaf and plant matter collected from the Colombian hills and interior jungles. Flowing at a leisurely pace of about 1.2 miles or 2 kilometers per hour, and maintaining a warm temperature of 82 degrees Fahrenheit or 28 degrees Celsius, the Rio Negro takes its time, unhurried and almost regal in its journey. On the other side we encounter the sandy-coloured Amazon River, also known as the Rio Solimões in this region. This river is a powerhouse, charging forward at 2.5 to 4 miles or 4 to 6 kilometers per hour, carrying sediment-rich water from the distant Andes Mountains. It's cooler too, with a temperature of around 71 degrees Fahrenheit or 22 degrees Celsius, creating a stark contrast to the Rio Negro. These fundamental differences, speed, temperature and sediment, conspire to keep the two rivers from merging right away. Instead, they flow side by side for a remarkable stretch of approximately 4 miles or 6 kilometers before finally blending together. The contrasting colors of the waters create a dramatic visual spectacle. The darker, almost black waters of the Rio Negro run alongside the sandy, almost golden waters of the Rio Solimões. This clear boundary is so distinct that it can be seen even from space. Off the southwestern coast of Mauritius lies one of nature's most fascinating optical illusions, an underwater waterfall that seems to defy the laws of physics. In reality, this mesmerizing sight is a clever trick played by sand, ocean currents and unique topography. The underwater waterfall illusion forms along the Le Morne Peninsula, a place steeped in geological wonders and rich history. Mauritius, a relatively young island formed roughly 8 million years ago through volcanic activity, sits on a submarine plateau or ocean shelf. This plateau is like a gigantic underwater table, extending only about 490 feet or 150 meters below sea level before it abruptly plunges into an abyss more than 13,000 feet or 4,000 meters deep. What appears to be water flowing underwater is actually sand and silt sediments in perpetual movement. Ocean currents continuously push these sediments off the edge of the continental shelf through a horseshoe-shaped crevasse. The stark contrast between the light-coloured sand and the deep blue ocean creates the perfect illusion of a waterfall cascading into the depths. While hiking up Le Morne Brabant mountain, which rises over 500 meters, offers a rough outline of the phenomenon, the real magic lies in an aerial view. From the sky, the optical illusion comes to life, revealing the breathtaking beauty of this underwater marvel. There are landscapes on Earth that make you stop, stare, and question whether what you're seeing is real, or the set of some ancient myth or sci-fi fantasy. One such place is the Avenue of the Baobabs in western Madagascar, where gravity-defying trees rise from the red earth like nature's monuments, as surreal as they are sacred. The Avenue of the Baobabs is a dusty road lined with towering Grandidier's baobab trees, a rare species found almost exclusively in Madagascar. These giants, some over 30 meters or 100 feet tall and 800 years old, look like they've been planted upside down, with their thick root-like branches reaching toward the heavens. Their massive trunks, bulbous, smooth, and impossibly wide, store thousands of gallons of water, a clever adaptation to the region's dry climate. They rise in silent grandeur across the horizon, casting long, surreal shadows during golden hour. It's one of the most photogenic and otherworldly places on Earth. Welcome to Milford Sound, New Zealand's fjord paradise. Despite its name, this breathtaking landscape is not a sound but a fjord, meticulously sculpted by ancient glaciers. Between 15,000 and 75,000 years ago, colossal glaciers carved their way down the mountains to the sea, creating these steep-sided valleys. As the ice retreated, seawater flooded in, forming the 10 miles or 16-kilometre-long fjord we marvel at today. The iconic Mitre Peak, standing proudly at 5,551 feet or 1,692 metres, dominates the landscape as the most photographed mountain in New Zealand. Milford Sound is one of the wettest places on Earth, receiving an astonishing 6,813 millimetres of rainfall annually. This deluge creates two permanent waterfalls, Lady Bowen Falls at 531 feet or 162 metres, and Stirling Falls at 508 feet or 155 metres. During heavy rain, hundreds of temporary cascades grace the cliffs, turning the fjord into a living, breathing masterpiece. Below the surface, the adventure continues. Tannin-stained fresh water sits atop seawater, creating a unique environment where deep sea life thrives in remarkably shallow waters. Here you might catch a glimpse of New Zealand fur seals basking on the rocks, bottlenose dolphins playfully leaping through the waves, or even the elusive fjordland-crested penguin. Milford Sound is not just a feast for the eyes, it's a symphony of nature's grandeur. Hidden deep within Venezuela's remote jungles, a hidden gem plunges from the heavens. It's Angel Falls, the world's tallest uninterrupted waterfall. Cascading from the edge of Auyan Tepui, this majestic wonder free-falls a staggering 2,648 feet or 807 meters, with a breathtaking total height of 3,212 feet or 979 meters. Imagine the sheer force of nature. As water plummets so far, it transforms into a column of mist long before reaching the canyon floor. Nestled within the vast expanse of Canaima National Park, Angel Falls lies in a UNESCO World Heritage Site that spans roughly 12,000 square miles or 30,000 square kilometers. This park is a testament to nature's grandeur, dominated by unique flat-top mountains known as tepuis, which cover 65% of the area. These ancient 1.7 billion-year-old table mountains, like Auyan Tepui, are more than geological formations. They are storytellers of time, revealing secrets of Earth's past through their rugged landscapes and distinctive shapes. There are places on this planet that don't just stun you with their beauty. They stop you in your tracks, make you blink twice, and ask, is this real? Diamond Beach in Iceland is one of those places. Iceland is often described as the land of contrasts, volcanoes and glaciers, lava and snow, darkness and light. Nowhere is this paradox more striking than on Diamond Beach. Here, ancient icebergs break off from the Breidamakur Glacier and drift slowly through Jokulsalon Lagoon before being carried out to sea. The Atlantic, never gentle, throws some of them back to shore. What's left is a surreal seascape, glowing ice shards resting on jet-black sand, shimmering like glass against a backdrop of crashing waves and vast skies. The contrast is so extreme it feels impossible, but it's real, and it's all made by nature. Each iceberg is unique, carved by time and tide, sculpted into intricate shapes that catch the light and glisten like precious gems. Walking along Diamond Beach feels like stepping into a fantasy world, where the boundaries between reality and imagination blur. Here, in the Guangxi region of southern China, the earth has painted a masterpiece. For centuries, poets, painters and travellers have sought to capture the ethereal beauty of the Li River. Stretching roughly 83 kilometres or 52 miles, the river flows past towering limestone peaks, hidden caves and villages that seem untouched by time. The most famous stretch lies between Guilin and Yangshuo, where every turn reveals new marvels. Like the Elephant Trunk Hill, a massive limestone hill that looks just like a giant elephant dipping its trunk into the river to drink, and Yellow Cloth Shoal, whose mirrored reflection creates a perfect symmetry between earth and water. The most popular way to experience the Li River is by boat cruise, drifting for 4 to 5 hours through scenes that feel otherworldly. The river's surface is often cloaked in morning mist, softening the jagged peaks into silhouettes that fade into the horizon. To journey along the Li River is to step into a Chinese painting, to witness a living poem of stone and water. In the top right part of Brazil, right by the Atlantic Ocean, there's a place that just doesn't make sense. At first glance, Lençóis Maranhenses looks like a classic desert, vast shimmering dunes that ripple like ocean waves frozen in time. But unlike true deserts, this region receives abundant rainfall during the first half of the year. Between January and June, torrential rains collect in the valleys between the dunes, forming thousands of freshwater lagoons in brilliant shades of turquoise, emerald and sapphire. By July and August, when the skies clear and the sun shines brightly, the lagoons reach their fullest, creating an otherworldly landscape of blue lagoons against blinding white sand, a spectacle that has made it a global icon of natural beauty. The park spans more than 1,500 square kilometres or 580 square miles, yet it remains largely untouched by human development. The dunes shift continuously under the coastal winds, sculpting new forms and patterns each year. Beneath the sand lies an impermeable layer of rock and clay, preventing rainwater from seeping away and giving rise to the shimmering lagoons that define the park's seasonal magic. Lençóis is more than a natural spectacle. It's a reminder of the planet's extraordinary diversity. Tucked away in the rugged landscape of northeastern Bohemia, near the Polish border, lies one of Europe's most mysterious and enchanting natural wonders, the Auderspach-Teplitz rock town. Over 90 million years ago, this region lay beneath a prehistoric sea. Over time, the elements sculpted the sandstone into the surreal formations that now rise dramatically above the forest. Today, the area is a protected national nature reserve with its two main sections, Auderspach rocks and Teplitz rocks, forming one of the largest sandstone formations in Central Europe. Pillars up to 100 metres or 328 feet high, weathered arches, deep gorges and caves that twist and turn like corridors in a forgotten fortress. Each rock has its own name and legend. The Lovers, the Mayor and the Mayoress, the Sugarloaf and the Tooth, reflecting the Czech people's long-held fascination with this landscape. In a country known for its castles and historic towns, the Rock Town stands apart as a natural masterpiece, a realm of stone giants, hidden lakes, and endless wonder. In the arid interior of British Columbia, Canada, lies a body of water that defies ordinary description. Known as Spotted Lake, it transforms each summer into a landscape dotted with brilliant circles of blue, green and yellow. For most of the year, Spotted Lake appears as a modest saltwater pond nestled amid arid hills. But as the hot Okanagan summer evaporates the water, something extraordinary happens. Dozens of colourful spots begin to appear across its surface. These circles, some large and others small, are created by the lake's exceptionally high concentration of minerals and salts, including magnesium sulfate, calcium and sodium sulfates. Each mineral crystallizes at different rates and in different colors, forming a patchwork of vivid hues that shift with the season and sunlight. Scientifically, Spotted Lake is a remarkable example of evaporitic mineral formation, where the combination of high temperatures, low rainfall, and unique geology creates one of the densest natural mineral deposits in North America. On Iceland's wild southern coast lies a place where nature's raw power and artistry collide. Reynisfjara Beach. Reynisfjara was born from volcanic fury. The black sands that stretch endlessly along the coastline are made of pulverized lava fragments, remnants of eruptions from the nearby Katla volcano, one of Iceland's most powerful and active. Over thousands of years, the relentless waves of the North Atlantic have smoothed this volcanic debris into a shimmering jet-black shoreline. But what truly sets it apart are its basalt sea stacks and cliffs, striking geometric formations that rise dramatically from the beach like the pipes of a colossal organ. These towering hexagonal columns, known as gardar, were formed when lava cooled rapidly, fracturing into near-perfect shapes that seem too precise to be natural. Just offshore, 3 jagged sea stacks pierce the horizon, known collectively as Reynisdrangar. According to Icelandic legend, these formations were once trolls who tried to drag a ship to shore. But as dawn broke, sunlight turned them to stone, freezing their struggle forever in time. Local folklore infuses the landscape with mystery, reminding visitors that in Iceland the line between myth and geology is as thin as the mist rolling off the sea. Off the rugged southern coast of Western Australia lies a spectacle so striking it seems almost unreal. A lake that gleams with vivid pink waters surrounded by deep green eucalyptus forest and the brilliant blue of the Indian Ocean. Lake Hillier rests on Middle Island, the largest of the Recherche archipelago, a remote chain of islands near the town of Esperance. The lake itself is relatively small, but its colour is unlike anything else on Earth. Seen from above, it glows like a splash of pink ink dropped into the turquoise sea, a perfect natural contrast that mesmerises everyone who witnesses it. Discovered in 1802 by British explorer Matthew Flinders, who climbed the island's highest peak and marvelled at the lake's rosy hue, Lake Hillier has fascinated scientists and travellers ever since. Unlike many other colourful lakes around the world, Hilliers' vivid pink colour is permanent. It doesn't fade when the water is removed or when seasons change. Scientists believe the lake's unique hue is caused by a combination of microorganisms that thrive in its salty environment, particularly a type of microalgae called Dunaliella salina. These tiny organisms produce carotenoid pigments similar to those found in carrots, which tint the water a brilliant shade of pink. In a country famous for its coral reefs, red deserts and turquoise coastlines, Lake Hillier stands out as a vivid masterpiece of contrast and wonder. High in the northwestern corner of Yellowstone National Park, where steam drifts through crisp mountain air and mineral terraces glisten in shades of white, gold and orange, lies one of the planet's most surreal natural wonders, Mammoth Hot Springs. Unlike the geysers and hot pools that define much of Yellowstone, Mammoth Hot Springs is a living sculpture, shaped over thousands of years by hot water rising from the Earth's depths. As geothermal water, heated by the park's massive underground volcanic system, travels through limestone beneath the surface, it dissolves calcium carbonate. When the hot water reaches the surface and cools, the calcium carbonate crystallizes, forming travertine terraces, brilliant layers of mineral stone that build up inch by inch, year after year. The result is a mesmerizing landscape that appears frozen in motion, a stairway of ivory and gold constantly shifting as the hot springs carve new paths and old terraces fade away. No two visits to Mammoth Hot Springs are ever the same. Nature redraws the scene every day. What makes the hot springs so unforgettable is its colour, an otherworldly mix of white, amber, orange and green. These hues come not from the minerals themselves, but from heat-loving microorganisms called thermophiles, which thrive in the warm waters flowing across the terraces. Few places on Earth display nature's artistry as vividly as Mammoth Hot Springs. From the delicate curves of its terraces to the vibrant colours that hint at life in extreme conditions, it stands as a masterpiece sculpted by time, heat and motion. Just off the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil, lies an island that few dare to visit, Ilha de Queimada Grande, better known as Snake Island. This 106-acre landmass is home to one of the deadliest populations of snakes on Earth. Between 2,000 and 4,000 golden lancehead vipers call this place home, making it a serpent's paradise and a human's nightmare. These golden lanceheads, or Bothrops insularis, are found nowhere else in the world. They're about 20 inches or half a metre long, and they've evolved in complete isolation after rising sea levels cut off the island from mainland Brazil around 11,000 years ago. The result is a snake population so dense that in certain areas you can find one snake per square metre. The golden lancehead's venom is among the most potent in Latin America. It targets birds that use the island as a migration stop, and it works with frightening efficiency. The venom is 5 times stronger than that of their mainland relatives. This ensures that their prey is immobilized almost instantly, preventing any chance of escape. A bite from one of these vipers can lead to horrifying symptoms like brain hemorrhaging, kidney failure, and muscular tissue necrosis. If untreated, the mortality rate of a bite is around 7%, and even with medical intervention, it only drops to about 3%. It's no wonder that the Brazilian government strictly controls access to the island. Only a select few scientists are granted permission to study these unique predators. Hidden in the northern reaches of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula lies a vivid spectacle of nature, Las Coloradas Lagoon. What makes Las Coloradas so unique is its dazzling pink hue. This striking colour is not an illusion, but the result of natural processes. The lagoon's shallow waters are rich in salt, and microorganisms like halobacteria and Dunaliella salina, which produce carotenoid pigments. When sunlight hits the water, these pigments create the brilliant pink tones that define the lagoon. The intensity of the colour changes depending on the time of day and season, making each visit a distinct experience. Early mornings and midday, when the sun is at its peak, often provide the most vivid display. Flamingos often visit Las Coloradas, their pink feathers matching the water. They eat the tiny shrimp and other creatures that live in the salty water. The trees around the lagoons are also important. Their roots provide homes for fish and crabs, and their branches are nesting places for birds. Las Coloradas shows us that beauty can be found in unexpected places, and even tough environments can support lots of life. Now we travel south to the dry but fascinating landscapes of Peru. Here, among the giant sand dunes of the Atacama Desert, is something that seems impossible, a green oasis called Huacachina. This small village, with only about 100 people, shows how resilient humans are and how important water is. A legend says the lagoon was made when a princess bathing in the desert was surprised by a hunter. As she ran away, the water she was bathing in became the lagoon, and her cloak created the dunes. While the legend is magical, the real reason is just as impressive. Huacachina exists because of underground water, which lets this small area thrive in the dry desert. Today, the lagoon is framed by lush palm trees and vibrant flora, creating a striking contrast against the golden sand dunes that stretch as far as the eye can see. This desert oasis is one of the few natural oases in the Americas, making it a rare and treasured location. Its surreal beauty has earned it a reputation as one of the most photogenic places in the world, drawing travelers, photographers and nature enthusiasts alike. We travel north to the Arctic Circle, to the Lofoten Islands of Norway. Here, huge mountains rise straight out of the sea. These islands, shaped by glaciers long ago, are incredibly beautiful. Deep fjords, cut by ancient ice rivers, create a stunning landscape. Small fishing villages with brightly coloured houses cling to the steep slopes. For centuries, the people of Lofoten have lived by the sea, depending on it for their survival. The winters bring long nights and the magical northern lights. Green, blue and purple lights dance across the sky, lighting up the snowy peaks. But summer is when the islands really come alive. The sun only sets for a few hours each night, and the waters are full of life. Huge groups of cod come south from the Barents Sea to lay their eggs. Fishermen have braved the dangerous seas to catch these fish for generations. Traditional wooden houses, once used by fishermen, are now all along the coast. Today, tourists come from all over to see the amazing scenery, hike the mountains, and see the northern lights. Even with all the visitors, the Lofoten Islands are still peaceful and timeless. It's a place where nature is still in charge, and the old ways of life continue. Deep in the Indian Ocean, on the green island of Mauritius, is something that seems impossible. This is Camarel, home to the seven-coloured earth. Here, sand dunes shimmer in all sorts of bright colours. The colours, from deep reds and browns to bright yellows and purples, are from volcanic activity millions of years ago. As hot lava cooled at different temperatures, it created layers of rock with different minerals. Over time, weather and erosion revealed these layers, creating the beautiful colours we see today. Amazingly, even with lots of rain, the colours stay separate. This is because of the special sand. Made of tiny bits of rock, the sand naturally separates into layers based on weight and minerals, keeping the colours bright. The seven-coloured earth isn't still. The dunes, shaped by wind and rain, are always changing. Patterns appear and disappear, giving visitors a new view every time. Even more mysterious, the dunes seem to defy gravity. Even after heavy rain, the colours stay separate because the water drains through the sand. This, along with the amazing beauty, has led to many local legends about how the seven-coloured earth was made. While the science behind it is fascinating, there's no denying the magic of the seven-coloured earth. It shows the power of nature and reminds us that even in small places, incredible beauty can be found. High in the Canadian Rockies, among tall peaks and forests, is Abraham Lake. In summer, it reflects the blue sky, a peaceful lake mirroring the wilderness around it. But in winter, when it gets very cold, this quiet lake changes dramatically. A thick layer of ice covers the lake, but under the ice something amazing happens. Thousands of frozen bubbles create a beautiful display. These bubbles aren't magic, they're made by nature. As plants and animals decompose at the bottom of the lake, they release methane gas. This gas rises and gets trapped under the ice, forming these frozen towers. As sunlight shines on the ice, it creates a beautiful show of light and shadow. The frozen lake becomes a kaleidoscope of colours. But this beauty hides a danger. Methane gas is flammable, and the bubbles are a reminder of this. While the sight is amazing, visitors should stay a safe distance, respecting the power of nature. The frozen bubbles of Abraham Lake show us the hidden wonders beneath the surface. They show the complex processes that shape our planet, a beautiful display of nature's art. In Iceland, a land of fire and ice, is Gullfoss, a waterfall so powerful and beautiful that it's called the Golden Falls. It shows the wild forces that have shaped Iceland for a long time. Fed by glacial meltwater, Gullfoss drops in two stages over basalt cliffs. The first drop is a powerful torrent, falling 36 feet or 11 meters. The second drop, a stunning 69 feet or 21 meters, seems to disappear into the earth. This double drop, combined with the sheer volume of water, creates an awe-inspiring spectacle of mist and thunder. The canyon into which Gullfoss flows is just as dramatic as the waterfall itself. Carved over millennia by glacial and river activity, the canyon's steep walls provide a stunning backdrop, adding depth and scale to the already spectacular scene. In the early 20th century, plans were made to harness the waterfall for hydroelectric power. However, daughter of a local farmer, fought tirelessly to protect Gullfoss. Her dedication, which included threats to throw herself into the falls, led to the eventual abandonment of the project. Today, Gullfoss is a symbol of Iceland's commitment to conservation. It's a place where visitors can see the raw beauty of nature and be inspired by those who fought to protect it. Nestled in the northernmost tip of Palawan, often referred to as the last frontier of the Philippines, El Nido is a tropical haven that consistently ranks among the most beautiful places on Earth. With its pristine beaches, towering limestone cliffs, hidden lagoons and crystal-clear turquoise waters, it offers an unparalleled escape into nature's raw, untouched beauty. El Nido is part of the Balquit archipelago, a collection of 45 stunning islands and islets. These islands are surrounded by vibrant coral reefs teeming with marine life, making it one of the most biodiverse regions in the world. The dramatic limestone karst formations that rise from the sea are one of El Nido's defining features. These cliffs, carved over thousands of years of wind and water, create a surreal backdrop for the lush greenery and azure waters. Its untouched natural beauty, vibrant marine life and serene atmosphere make it one of the most amazing places on Earth. Located in Australia's Red Centre and dating back over 500 million years, Uluru is one of the oldest landforms on Earth. Composed of Arcos sandstone, the rock is embedded with minerals like feldspar, which give it its striking red hue under sunlight. However, this vibrant red is just the surface. Beneath lies grey rock, revealed in crevices and weathered areas. The monolith stands 1,142 feet or 348 meters above the desert floor and has a circumference of 5.8 miles or 9.4 kilometers. Yet, what's visible is just a fraction of the structure. A significant portion of Uluru extends underground, anchoring it deeply within the earth. This hidden expanse adds to its enigmatic allure. Uluru's ever-changing colours are one of its most mesmerising phenomena. At sunrise and sunset, the monolith glows in fiery hues of orange, red and purple, an effect caused by the interplay of sunlight and the rock's mineral composition. Scientists have long puzzled over the monolith's isolated position in an otherwise flat terrain, suggesting it was once part of a massive mountain range that eroded over millions of years. Nestled in the Cappadocia region of Turkey, the Görem fairy chimneys are among the most enigmatic and otherworldly landscapes on Earth. The chimneys are the result of volcanic activity that dates back around 10 million years. Nearby volcanoes, including Mount Asayas and Mount Hassan, blanketed the region with thick layers of ash, which compressed into soft, porous rock called tuff. Over time, harder basalt rock formed caps atop the tuff, protecting it from erosion. Wind, rain, and temperature fluctuations sculpted the landscape, creating the unique spires and mushroom-shaped formations that define the region today. Some of these chimneys stretch up to 131 feet or 40 meters into the sky, their peculiar shapes inspiring countless legends about their origins. Early Christian communities, seeking refuge from Roman persecution, carved homes, churches and monasteries directly into the soft, tough rock. Göremi became a spiritual hub, with fresco-adorned chapels and hermitages hidden within the chimneys and cliffs. On the rugged northern coast of County Antrim in Northern Ireland stands a site who is renowned for its unique hexagonal basalt columns, which appear almost too precise to have been formed by nature, the Giant's Causeway. It was formed around 50 to 60 million years ago during a period of intense volcanic activity. As molten basalt lava erupted and cooled rapidly, it contracted and cracked in a process similar to drying mud, creating the iconic hexagonal shapes. These columns, numbering about 40,000, interlock like a giant jigsaw puzzle, extending into the ocean like a natural bridge. While hexagons dominate, the columns also display other polygonal shapes, ranging from 4 to 8 sides. Some of the tallest columns rise up to 39 feet or 12 meters, while others are submerged beneath the waves, adding to the sense of mystery about how far this formation truly extends. The sheer scale and precision of the columns have inspired theories about their formation, with some early thinkers speculating they were carved by ancient civilizations or created by supernatural forces. According to Irish legend, the site was created by the giant Finn McCool, a warrior of immense strength. As the story goes, Finn built the causeway as a bridge to Scotland to confront his rival Benandonna, another giant. The myth is further supported by the existence of similar basalt columns across the sea on the Scottish Isle of Staffa, suggesting the remains of this giant-built bridge. On the Philippine island of Bohol stands a truly mesmerizing collection of over 1,200 symmetrical mounds, the Chocolate Hills. They cover an area of more than 31 square miles or 50 square kilometres, rising uniformly to heights of 98 to 164 feet or 30 to 50 metres, with the tallest reaching up to 394 feet or 120 metres. Their near-perfect conical shapes and uniform size make them a rare natural spectacle. It is believed the hills were formed millions of years ago by the uplift of ancient coral reefs combined with erosion. The mounds consist of limestone and are covered by a thin layer of grass. Over time, wind and rain sculpted the hills into their current shapes. However, their precise and uniform appearance remains a mystery, sparking debates about whether additional, less understood forces were at play. During the dry season, the grass covering the hills turns a rich chocolate brown, giving them their famous name. In the rainy season, they are lush and green, creating an entirely different yet equally captivating landscape. Hidden within the arid landscapes of the American Southwest lies a subterranean world of breathtaking beauty, Antelope Canyon. It is a slot canyon, a narrow gorge carved into sandstone by the persistent force of rushing water. Over thousands of years, flash floods and wind erosion sculpted the smooth, undulating walls of the canyon, creating the flowing shapes and striations that define its interior. The canyon is divided into two main sections: Upper Antelope Canyon, also known as the Crack, and Lower Antelope Canyon, nicknamed the Corkscrew. Both feature walls that twist and turn, narrowing to mere inches in places while opening up to reveal shafts of sunlight that beam down in spectacular displays. These light beams, particularly visible in Upper Antelope Canyon during specific times of the year, enhance the canyon's mystical aura, casting dramatic shadows and transforming the sandstone into a palette of red, orange, pink, and purple hues. Antelope Canyon holds deep spiritual significance for the Navajo Nation, on whose land the canyon is located. Known in Navajo as the place where water runs through rocks, the canyon is considered a sacred space. It is said to embody the connection between earth and the heavens, with its light beams symbolizing spiritual enlightenment and its curves reflecting the natural flow of life. 16,400 feet or 5,000 meters high in the Peruvian Andes lies a site that seems to defy nature. A mountain striped with vibrant colors like an artist's palette. This is Vinicanca, known as the Rainbow Mountain. The vibrant bands of the mountain are the result of millions of years of geological processes. Its colors are caused by mineral deposits layered within the sedimentary rock. These layers, originally deposited in a marine environment, were compressed and uplifted by tectonic forces, exposing the hidden palette. Erosion by wind and rain then sculpted the mountain into its current form, allowing the colorful bands to shine. Despite its ancient origins, Rainbow Mountain only gained worldwide attention in the 2010. For centuries, the area was covered by a thick layer of snow and ice, concealing its multicolored splendor. As climate change accelerated glacial melting, the colors emerged, revealing a geological treasure previously hidden from view. In Yunnan province in China stands one of the most enigmatic landforms on Earth, the Stone Forest. It spans an area of over 310 square miles or 500 square kilometers and features towering limestone formations that resemble petrified trees, creating the illusion of a vast forest made of stone. The stone forest was formed over 270 million years ago during the Permian period, when the region was submerged under a shallow sea. Layers of limestone accumulated on the seafloor, and over time, tectonic activity lifted the land above sea level. Erosion by wind, rain and flowing water sculpted the limestone into its present-day forms, including jagged spires, arches and caves. The karst formations are a textbook example of a type of landscape known as karst topography, which occurs when soluble rocks like limestone are eroded. However, the scale and variety of the formations are exceptional, making it a unique global phenomenon. The formations tower up to 98 feet, or 30 meters high, their sharp peaks and intricate shapes appearing as though carved by unnatural forces. Some rocks resemble animals, mythical creatures or human figures, earning names like Elephant, Phoenix, and Sword Peak Pond. For centuries, the stone forest has been celebrated in Chinese literature, art and poetry. It has been described as the first wonder of the world in historical texts, reflecting its enduring appeal and significance. Scattered along Koikohe Beach on the Otago coast of New Zealand's South Island, the Moeraki boulders are a natural marvel that has puzzled scientists and inspired legends for centuries. These nearly perfect spherical stones, some measuring over 6 feet or 2 meters in diameter, are an extraordinary geological phenomenon. The Moeraki boulders are a type of concretion, a natural formation where sedimentary rock hardens around a nucleus, often a piece of fossilized material such as a shell or bone. Over millions of years, layers of calcite and other minerals accumulated, gradually forming the boulder's perfectly round shape. The boulders began their journey buried within the mudstone cliffs that line the coast. Erosion from wind, rain and waves eventually revealed these hidden treasures, scattering them along the beach. Their size and symmetry make them particularly unique among concretions, with some weighing several tons and boasting intricate, crack-like patterns called septaria. While the general process of concretion is understood, the size and precision of the boulders remain a geological curiosity. Most concretions found elsewhere are small and irregularly shaped, unlike the massive, symmetrical Moeraki boulders. Scientists continue to study the unique conditions of the Otago coast to better understand how such unusual formations came to exist. Rising from the waters of the Southern Ocean along the Great Ocean Road in Victoria, Australia, the 12 Apostles are an iconic and mysterious natural wonder. They were formed through a process spanning millions of years. Originally part of the mainland cliffs, these limestone stacks were carved by relentless erosion caused by the crashing waves and winds of the Southern Ocean. The process began with the creation of caves in the cliffs, which then evolved into arches. When these arches collapsed, the isolated stacks were left standing, some towering up to 148 feet or 45 meters above the water. The relentless natural forces that created the Apostles continued to shape the coastline, gradually eroding the stacks. In fact, the number of Apostles has dwindled over time. The last collapse occurred in 2005, leaving 8 visible stacks. In the rolling plains of northeastern Wyoming, USA, rising one of the most mysterious and awe-inspiring landforms, Devil's Tower. This iconic monolith, a towering column of igneous rock, reaches 867 feet or 265 meters from its base to its summit. Devil's Tower is widely believed to be the remnant of a volcanic intrusion, magma that solidified underground and was later exposed through erosion. While this general concept is accepted, the exact details of its formation remain a topic of debate among geologists. The most widely accepted theory is that the monolith is formed approximately 50 million years ago during the Paleocene epoch. Molten magma pushed up through layers of sedimentary rock but never reached the surface. Instead, it cooled underground, creating a massive column of phonolite porphyry, a rare type of igneous rock. Over millions of years, erosion stripped away the surrounding sedimentary rock, leaving the tower standing alone. The tower have a columnar jointing, which formed as the magma cooled and contracted, creating vertical hexagonal columns. These columns are among the tallest and most perfectly formed examples in the world, adding to the tower's mystique. While most geologists agree that Devil's Tower is the result of volcanic activity, alternative theories have occasionally emerged, adding to the intrigue. Some suggest that the IT could be the eroded remnant of a larger volcanic plug, or the neck of an ancient volcano. Others propose that it may be an extremely resistant mass of rock that withstood millions of years of weathering and erosion. Covers in mystique, Devil's Tower was declared the first U.S. national monument in 1906 by President Theodore Roosevelt. Jutting from golden desert sands like ancient sentinels, the pinnacles create one of Australia's most bewildering landscapes. Located in Nambung National Park near the coastal town of Cervantes, these limestone pillars vary dramatically in height, some reaching 16 feet or 5 meters tall, while others barely rise above knee height. The raw materials for these curious formations originated approximately 500,000 years ago when shallow seas covered the area, allowing marine organisms to create shells rich in calcium carbonate. Around 25,000 years ago, these shells broke down into lime-rich sands that coastal winds transported inland, creating massive mobile dunes. Recent research of iron nodules within the formations suggests they formed specifically during an extremely wet period about 102,000 years ago. Throughout their history, water played an initial role in sculpting the pinnacles. Rainwater, containing carbonic acid, effectively dissolved much of the surrounding limestone. As this erosion continued, small depressions and solution pipes gradually enlarged, eventually resulting in the distinctive pinnacle topography. Meanwhile, powerful desert winds gradually stripped away softer materials, exposing the more resistant formations we see today. This persistent erosion revealed cross-bedding patterns within many pinnacles, whereby ancient wind directions from the Jurassic period remain preserved in stone. This extraordinary assemblage of limestone pillars rising from golden sands creates a truly extraterrestrial-looking environment, whereby visitors often describe feeling transported to another planet entirely. Gleaming white terraces cascade down the hillside in Denizli province, Turkey, creating one of Earth's most surreal landscapes. Pamukkale, meaning cotton castle in Turkish, presents visitors with a dazzling spectacle of mineral deposits. It resembles giant cotton balls or frozen waterfalls, earning its place among the world's most unusual geological wonders. The striking white terraces of Pamukkale are formed through a remarkable process of calcium carbonate deposition. This natural wonder began when thermal spring water, supersaturated with dissolved calcium bicarbonate, emerged at the surface. As this mineral-rich water flows downhill and cools, carbon dioxide releases into the atmosphere, shifting the chemical equilibrium. This process forces calcium carbonate to precipitate as a soft gel that eventually crystallizes into solid travertine. The terraces cover approximately 22,000 square feet, or 2,100 square meters, forming a series of steps, ledges and pools that resemble a giant staircase. The sedimentary process continues today, although at varying rates. Each litre of water deposits nearly 500 milligrams of calcium carbonate. The formation's unique appearance varies throughout the day as sunlight interacts with the mineral deposits and water. The terrace's colour shifts subtly based on mineral content and sunlight angles, while filled pools create stunning reflective surfaces that enhance the otherworldly visual effect. Unlike the permanent stone sculptures found elsewhere, Iceland's Skaftafell ice formations offer a rare glimpse into nature's fleeting artistry. Located within Vatnajökull National Park in southeastern Iceland, these remarkable glacial structures emerge from the Skaftafellsjökull glacier, an outlet glacier extending from Vatnajökull, Europe's second-largest ice cap. Skaftafellsjökull flows as a living mass of ice, carving its path from the northernmost portion of Öræfajökull glacier down a steep valley. This constant movement creates a dynamic landscape where the glacier essentially sculpts itself. The ice cap's tremendous weight causes the snow to compress into thick ice masses over centuries, forcing all air bubbles out and enlarging ice crystals. This compression process shapes extraordinary features within and around the glacier. The most spectacular of these formations are the ice caves, which develop when glacial meltwater carves out tunnels and chambers within the ice. These caves form differently each year, making every winter season's discoveries entirely unique. The most striking characteristic of Skaftafell's ice is its remarkable colour palette. The compressed glacier ice often displays an enchanting blue hue, resembling glittering sapphires and diamond-like cathedrals. This occurs because the dense, compressed ice absorbs all colours of the light spectrum except blue. Finally, climate change significantly impacts these formations. Rising global temperatures accelerate glacial retreat, altering the timing and volume of meltwater discharge. This threatens not only the accessibility of these unique formations, but their very existence, making each visit to Skaftafell's ice world increasingly precious. Among Australia's most ancient geological wonders, Wave Rock stands frozen in time, like a petrified ocean swell about to crash onto a prehistoric shore. Located near the small town of Hayden in Western Australia, this 50 feet or 15-metre high, 361 feet or 110-metre long granite cliff face represents one of Earth's most captivating natural illusions. At an astonishing 2.7 billion years old, Wave Rock predates even the dinosaurs. This remarkable formation began taking shape through a multi-stage process spanning millions of years. The granite cliff constitutes part of a larger Inselberg, island mountain known as Hayden Rock. Its distinctive wave shape emerged primarily through chemical weathering beneath the ground. Groundwater concentrated around the base of the rock gradually dissolved minerals in the granite, creating a concave pocket. Consequently, as the surrounding land eroded away, this undercut section was exposed, revealing the wave-like overhang we see today. The striking colour palette adorning Wave Rock's surface tells its own geological story. As rainwater runs down the cliff face, it dissolves and redeposits chemicals present in the granite. This process creates the distinctive vertical stripes in various hues. For thousands of years, Aboriginal peoples have held this site sacred. Known as Kata Kitch in the Noongar language, Wave Rock features prominently in indigenous Dreamtime stories. According to Baladong traditions, the formation was created by the rainbow serpent, who, after consuming all water in the land, dragged her swollen body across the terrain, leaving this distinctive imprint. In the barren expanse of Turkmenistan's Karakum Desert lies a fiery anomaly that differs from other weird rock formations, the door to hell. This blazing crater, officially named the Darvaza gas crater, has been continuously burning for over 5 decades, creating an otherworldly spectacle that draws adventurous tourists to its fiery rim. The precise history of this flaming pit remains shrouded in mystery, with conflicting accounts of its creation. The most widespread explanation suggests that Soviet geologists accidentally created the crater in 1971 while drilling for oil. After hitting a natural gas pocket, the ground beneath their equipment collapsed, forming a large hole approximately 230 feet or 70 meters wide and 99 feet or 30 meters deep. Scientists deliberately ignited the escaping methane to prevent poisonous gases from spreading to nearby communities or killing desert wildlife. They anticipated the gas would burn out within weeks, yet 50 years later, the flames continue. In 2013, Canadian explorer George Kourounis became the first person to reach the bottom of the burning pit. Wearing an aluminized suit with a Kevlar harness and specialized breathing equipment, he collected soil samples that revealed something extraordinary: extremophile bacteria thriving in this seemingly inhospitable environment. These heat-adapted microorganisms were not present in surrounding soil samples, suggesting they evolved specifically for this extreme habitat. Scientists believe these findings may help understand how life might exist on methane-rich exoplanets with similar harsh conditions. Nestled in the Coyote Buttes area near the Arizona-Utah border, the wave stands as one of America's most photographed geological oddities. This mesmerizing formation of undulating sandstone appears like a frozen ocean wave, complete with swirling patterns that make it a photographer's dream and a scientist's puzzle. The genesis of this sandstone marvel dates back approximately 190 million years to the Jurassic period, when the region resembled a vast, windswept desert similar to today's Sahara. Initially, the formation began as enormous sand dunes that compacted and solidified into Navajo sandstone over millennia. The wave consists primarily of 2 intersecting U-shaped troughs, one measuring 62 feet or 19 meters wide by 118 feet or 36 meters long, and another spanning 6 feet or 2 meters wide by 52 feet or 16 meters long. Water played the first role in sculpting these troughs. Infrequent runoff initially carved paths along joints in the sandstone. As time passed, the drainage basin feeding water to these troughs gradually diminished, making water erosion less significant. Subsequently, wind took over as the primary sculptor, with blowing sand continuing to polish and refine the formation. This ongoing erosion accentuates the cross-bedding patterns that record ancient wind directions from the Jurassic era. The vibrant color palette decorating the wave results from mineral deposits interacting with the porous sandstone. These colors arrange themselves in rhythmic alternating bands representing periodic changes in prevailing winds as ancient sand dunes migrated across the prehistoric desert. Complex interactions between iron-enriched fluids and groundwater created this striking palette, either concentrating or removing iron oxide grain coatings within the sandstone. To preserve this geological wonder, authorities strictly limit access to 64 visitors daily, with demand far exceeding availability. Rising dramatically above Norway's stunning Lysefjord, Pulpit Rock stands as one of nature's most unusual sculptural achievements. This flat-topped cliff formation towers 1,982 feet or 604 meters above the crystalline waters below, creating a near-perfect natural viewing platform. The creation of this remarkable formation began approximately 10,000 years ago during the last ice age. As massive glaciers moved across the Norwegian landscape, they exerted tremendous pressure on the terrain below. The process began when the edges of ancient glaciers reached the cliff area, causing water to freeze in mountain crevices. This freezing action broke off large angular blocks of rock that were subsequently carried away by the retreating ice masses. Unlike many rounded formations shaped by continuous erosion, pulpit rock maintains its distinctive angular appearance due to differential weathering. The plateau consists primarily of tough granite, gneiss and migmatite materials, significantly more resistant to erosion than surrounding rock layers. This selective erosion process created the almost mathematically precise 82 by 82 feet or 25 by 25 meter square platform that draws visitors today. The nearly perfect square plateau provides an unobstructed vantage point described as one of the world's most spectacular viewing points. This geological marvel has become one of Norway's most popular outdoor destinations, drawing more than 300,000 visitors annually. In China's Hunan province, thousands of natural stone pillars thrust dramatically skyward, creating the otherworldly landscape of Tianzi Mountains. These quartzite sandstone spires stand among Earth's most peculiar weird rock formations, often vanishing into clouds that transform them into floating islands. The Tianzi Mountains began forming approximately 400 million years ago through a remarkable geological process. Originally sedimentary rocks beneath a vast ocean, these formations emerged through irregular rising patterns of Earth's crust. Subsequently, around 318 million years of persistent erosion sculpted these distinctive, tall, slender mountains. The area now contains more than 3,000 quartzite sandstone pillars and peaks. What makes these formations scientifically fascinating is their composition. The mountains primarily consist of quartz sandstone, except for a layer of limestone and minimal tortoise-patterned stone at the summit. This unique geology creates distinctly stratified layers with different coloration and shapes developed through exposure to the elements. Water erosion carved along vertical joints in the rock, while gravity collapse further shaped these remarkable structures. Tianzi's microclimate transforms these stone pillars throughout the year. The area experiences approximately 240 frost-free days annually, with average temperatures of 53 degrees Fahrenheit or 12 degrees Celsius, and substantial rainfall reaching 1,800 millimeters yearly. This creates ideal conditions for the region's most distinctive phenomenon, thick mist that regularly envelops the mountains. This fog occurs over 200 days annually, creating what locals call the Sea of Clouds. As wind drives the white mist between peaks, it reveals glimpses of stone pillars seemingly floating in air. Visitors experience a constantly changing panorama as mountains appear and disappear within minutes. Stretching across 1,162 square miles or 3,010 square kilometers near the Farafra oasis in Egypt's western desert, the White Desert presents an otherworldly landscape that appears like freshly fallen snow in the middle of the Sahara. This national park, officially designated as a protected area in 2002, showcases some of Earth's most bizarre weird rock formations. The geological history of the White Desert began approximately 100 million years ago during the Cretaceous period, when this entire region lay submerged beneath an ancient sea. Over millennia, layers of marine sediment accumulated, primarily composed of calcium carbonate from the remains of countless marine microorganisms. These sedimentary layers eventually formed the bedrock of limestone and chalk that characterizes the area today. Examining the rock formations closely reveals fascinating evidence of this marine past. Scattered throughout are fossilized seashells, mollusks, crustaceans, and even prehistoric shark teeth embedded within the limestone layers. Fundamentally, what makes these formations extraordinary is the persistent sculpting action of wind and sand over millions of years. Through a process known as ventifacting, sand particles carried by powerful desert winds act as natural sand-blasting agents, gradually carving the soft chalk and limestone into fantastical shapes. This relentless erosion has created columnar geological features that resemble giant mushrooms, often called desert ice by locals. The distinctive white color that gives this desert its name comes from its high concentration of chalk and limestone, both rich in calcium carbonate. The Appalachian Mountains stretch more than 2,400 kilometers or 1,490 miles across eastern North America, from Newfoundland in Canada to the southeastern United States. They are among the oldest mountain ranges on Earth, formed over 480 million years ago, when continents that no longer exist collided. Their highest peak is Mount Mitchell, rising 2,037 meters or 6,680 feet above sea level in North Carolina. Today, that may seem modest, but these mountains were once as tall as the Himalayas. Erosion slowly transformed them into rolling ridges, deep valleys, and dense forests, creating one of the most biologically diverse temperate regions on Earth. The Appalachians shaped early American history, acting as a natural barrier to westward expansion, providing coal, iron, and timber, and hosting the legendary Appalachian Trail, one of the longest hiking trails on the planet. These mountains don't dominate the skyline, but they dominate time itself. Far from America's green hills rise the Urals, a long, stony spine of Russia. They stretch for over 2,500 kilometers or 1,550 miles from the Arctic Ocean down toward Kazakhstan, forming the historic boundary between Europe and Asia. Their highest point is Mount Narodnaya, standing at 1,895 meters or 6,220 feet. Though relatively low, the Urals are geologically massive, formed around 300 million years ago during the creation of the supercontinent Pangaea. Gold, platinum, iron and precious gemstones have been mined here for centuries, making the Urals economically vital to Russia's rise as a global power. Snow-covered in the north and forested in the south, the Urals quietly divide two continents, without ever demanding attention. The Tian Shan, or Celestial Mountains, dominate Central Asia, stretching nearly 2,800 kilometers or 1,740 miles across China, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan. Their highest peak is Jengish Chokusu, towering at 7,439 meters or 24,400 feet. Its permanent ice and violent storms make it one of the most challenging mountains in Asia. These mountains rise abruptly from deserts and plains, creating a dramatic contrast between scorching lowlands and permanent ice above. These mountains act as natural water towers, feeding rivers that sustain millions of people across Central Asia. Without the glaciers of the Tian Shan, much of the region would struggle to survive. The range is also highly seismically active, with earthquakes continuing to reshape the landscape even today. For centuries, Silk Road traders passed through their valleys, while nomadic cultures adapted to life beneath towering walls of stone and snow. Remote, powerful, and still relatively unexplored, the Tian Shan are one of Earth's hidden giants. The Atlas Mountains rise like a stone wall across North Africa, stretching through Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. They form a dramatic divide between the Mediterranean coastline and the Sahara Desert, the largest hot desert on Earth. The highest peak, Mount Toubkal, reaches over 4,100 meters or 13,450 feet, towering above surrounding deserts. Snow often crowns its summit, even as desert heat scorches the land below. The mountains were formed between about 80 and 30 million years ago, when tectonic forces caused the African plate to collide with the Eurasian plate. This slow but powerful collision folded and lifted the Earth's crust, pushing the land upward into the mountains we see today. Without the Atlas, much of North Africa would be uninhabitable. They capture moisture from the air, feeding rivers and valleys that support millions of people, especially the Berber communities, who have lived here for thousands of years. In a land defined by heat and sand, the Atlas Mountains are a fortress of life. Located between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, the Caucasus Mountains mark another powerful continental boundary between Europe and Asia. This powerful mountain range stretches for more than 1,200 kilometers or 746 miles, cutting across modern-day Russia, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. This range includes Mount Elbrus, which at 5,642 meters or 18,510 feet is the highest mountain in Europe. The Caucasus were formed around 25 to 30 million years ago, when the Arabian plate began colliding with the Eurasian plate. This slow but relentless impact folded the Earth's crust, lifting the land into steep ridges and deep valleys. These mountains have long acted as both a barrier and a refuge. Their rugged terrain isolated communities, allowing hundreds of languages and cultures to develop in close proximity, making the Caucasus one of the most culturally diverse regions on the planet. Legends, myths, and conflicts have echoed through these peaks for thousands of years. The Alps are the most famous mountains in the world, and arguably the most influential in human history. Stretching across 8 countries from France to Slovenia, they dominate the heart of Europe. Their highest peak, Mont Blanc, rises to 4,808 meters or 15,774 feet on the border of France and Italy. For centuries, this peak symbolized the edge of the known world and inspired the birth of modern mountaineering. The Alps were formed around 65 to 30 million years ago, when the African plate collided with the Eurasian plate, folding and uplifting the Earth's crust. Beyond their beauty, the Alps are vital to life across the continent. Their glaciers and snowfields feed major rivers like the Rhine, Danube and Po, supplying water to millions of people. Yet today, the Alps are on the front line of climate change, with glaciers melting at alarming rates. Beautiful, iconic and fragile, they are a living reminder of the forces that built the continent itself. The Rocky Mountains form the backbone of western North America, stretching nearly 4,800 kilometers or 2,982 miles from Canada to New Mexico. Rising sharply from plains and deserts, the Rockies are not the tallest mountains on Earth, but few ranges have shaped an entire continent so completely. Formed between 80 and 55 million years ago, the Rockies are relatively young in geological terms. Their dramatic peaks, deep valleys and sharp ridgelines are the result of powerful tectonic forces followed by relentless erosion from ice and wind. Their highest peak is Mount Elbert, standing at 4,401 meters or 14,440 feet in Colorado. From here, the Rockies divide the flow of water across North America, sending rivers toward the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and even the Arctic Ocean. From grizzly bears to alpine tundra, from gold rushes to national parks, The Rockies are deeply woven into North America's identity. Where the borders of Pakistan, India and China meet, the Karakoram Mountains rise in violent walls of rock and ice. This is one of the most extreme mountain ranges on Earth, steeper, harsher and more unforgiving than almost anywhere else. The Karakoram stretch for over 500 kilometers. Yet within this relatively compact range stand some of the tallest and most dangerous peaks on the planet. At their highest point rises K2, towering 8,611 meters or 28,250 feet above sea level. Known as the Savage Mountain, it is the second highest peak in the world and widely considered the most difficult to climb. The Karakoram were formed around 40 to 25 million years ago, as the Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate, thrusting the Earth's crust upward into towering spires. Unlike most regions on Earth, many Karakoram glaciers are stable or even growing, a rare phenomenon known as the Karakoram anomaly. These glaciers feed the Indus River, sustaining millions of people downstream. Unforgiving, relentless and awe-inspiring, the Karakoram remain one of the last true frontiers on Earth. Stretching along the western edge of South America, the Andes Mountains form the longest mountain range on Earth. They run for more than 7,000 kilometers or 4,350 miles, crossing 7 countries from Venezuela to Chile and Argentina. No other mountain system shapes an entire continent the way the Andes do. At their highest point stands Aconcagua, rising 6,961 meters or 22,838 feet above sea level, the tallest mountain outside Asia. The Andes were formed over millions of years as the Nazca Plate continues to slide beneath the South American plate. This powerful process, known as subduction, fuels earthquakes, volcanic eruptions and the constant uplift of the mountains themselves. These mountains create extreme contrasts. On one side lies the Atacama Desert, the driest place on Earth. On the other, rainforests and fertile valleys flourish. High above, glaciers and snowfields crown the peaks. The Andes gave rise to great civilizations. The Inca Empire built cities, roads and terraces at astonishing altitudes, adapting to thin air and steep terrain. By length and cultural impact alone, the Andes are unmatched, except by one. Rising like a wall of stone and ice across Nepal, India, Bhutan, China and Pakistan, the Himalayas are Earth's most magnificent mountain range. They are home to the planet's tallest peaks, including Mount Everest, soaring 8,849 meters or 29,032 feet above sea level, the highest point on Earth. Yet Everest is only one of 14 peaks above 8,000 meters, all of them part of this colossal range. The Himalayas were formed about 50 million years ago, when the Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate. That collision is still ongoing today, pushing peaks higher and triggering earthquakes along the way. The Himalayas are not just mountains, they are the lifeblood of a continent. Rivers born from their glaciers, like the Ganges, Indus and Brahmaputra, provide water for nearly 2 billion people, shaping agriculture, cities and entire ecosystems. For centuries, these peaks have inspired awe, reverence and fear. Sacred in many cultures, the Himalayas are pilgrimage sites, homes to monasteries perched on cliffs, and a test of human endurance. Climbers risk life and limb to reach their summits, confronting blizzards, avalanches, and freezing temperatures. They are not just the tallest mountains, they are the roof of the world. Hidden beneath the rolling green hills of New Zealand's North Island lies a world unlike any other, the Waitomo glowworm caves, a silent cathedral-like realm illuminated not by sunlight, but by thousands of living stars. The Waitomo region sits atop ancient limestone formed from the fossilized remains of marine life deposited more than 30 million years ago. Over countless millennia, water carved its way through this limestone, sculpting passages, caverns, and underground rivers. Inside the caves lives an extraordinary species, Arachnocampa luminosa, a glowworm found only in New Zealand. These tiny insects emit a soft blue-green light that transforms the darkness into something ethereal. When viewed from the cave's silent underground river, the glowworms resemble a starry night sky, so dazzling and surreal that many visitors describe the experience as otherworldly. The glow is part of the insect's hunting strategy. The brighter the glow, the more likely prey will be lured into their silk threads. While many caves around the globe boast remarkable formations, few offer the combination of geological grandeur, bioluminescent spectacle, and cultural heritage that Waitomo provides. We are now flying across the world to the beautiful island of Capri in Italy. Hidden in the side of a cliff is the Blue Grotto. The magic of the Blue Grotto begins with its narrow entrance, just a metre high, through which visitors must lie flat in small rowboats to slip inside. But once within, the low, dark passage opens into a grand chamber filled with an electrifying blue light. Caves around the world are celebrated for their intricate formations, underground rivers, and majestic size. Yet the Blue Grotto stands apart for its singular phenomenon, the mesmerizing neon blue illumination that fills its interior. This harmony of geology, sunlight, and sea is found in only a handful of locations worldwide, and nowhere with the same intensity or beauty. It is this delicate balance of nature and light that elevates the cave to legendary status among the world's greatest natural wonders. Rising out of the wild waters of the Inner Hebrides on the western coast of Scotland stands striking natural and unusual wonder. Fingal's Cave. The cave owes its distinctive appearance to ancient volcanic activity. Around 60 million years ago, rivers of lava cooled and fractured into hexagonal columns, a rare phenomenon shared only with a few places on Earth. These towering basalt columns line the interior of the cave as though carefully chiseled by a master architect. The result is a high, arched chamber formed entirely of near-perfect geometric pillars rising above the Atlantic surf. The structure is so precise that early visitors often believed it was man-made. Fingal's Cave is also tied to Celtic folklore. According to Gaelic legend, the cave was part of a massive bridge built by the giant Fingal, connecting Scotland to Ireland. Many caves impress with massive chambers, elaborate formations, or dazzling mineral displays. Fingal's Cave stands out for something entirely different: the perfect harmony of geology, acoustics, and myth. Deep beneath the karst landscapes of southwestern Slovenia lies a subterranean wonder so vast and intricate that it has captivated scientists, explorers and travellers for more than 2 centuries. Formed by the persistent flow of the Pivka River, Postojna Cave stretches for more than 24 kilometres or 15 miles, making it one of the longest publicly accessible cave systems in the world. Its passageways display a breathtaking array of geological formations: towering stalagmites, delicate stalactites, translucent curtains, massive caverns and intricately sculpted limestone corridors. The cave is famous for offering a rare experience in the world of caving, a train ride that transports visitors deep into the heart of its underground wonderland. This electric cave railway, the only one of its kind in the world, was first opened in the late 19th century and remains one of the most iconic parts of the Postojna experience. Although locals knew of the cave for centuries, its modern chapter began in 1818, when deeper chambers were discovered during preparations for an imperial visit. Since then, Postojna Cave has welcomed more than 40 million visitors, making it one of the most visited show caves in the world. Nestled in a lush valley in Lebanon lies one of the Middle East's most extraordinary natural treasures, Jeta Grotto. Jeta developed over millions of years as water from melting snows and mountain springs dissolved limestone, carving tunnels, chambers and pools. The result is a system stretching more than 9 kilometres or 5 miles into the mountains, though only a portion is open to the public. The cave is composed of 2 separate but interconnected cave systems, an upper grotto and a lower grotto, each contributing its own unique magic to the experience. The upper grotto, explored on foot, showcases an astonishing variety of stalactites, stalagmites, pillars, draperies and crystalline formations shaped over millions of years. It is also home to one of the world's longest-known stalactites, an immense limestone formation that epitomizes the grandeur of this underground paradise. The lower grotto, accessible by electric boat, offers a serene journey along an underground river. Gliding through its majestic water-filled corridors, visitors witness cathedral-like chambers lit gently to reveal their natural beauty. This combination of land and water exploration is part of what makes Jeta unlike any other cave system on Earth. In 2011, Jeta Grotto was a finalist in the global New 7 Wonders of Nature competition, drawing international attention to its uniqueness and beauty. Deep in the heart of central Vietnam, where emerald forests blanket limestone mountains and rivers cut through the ancient karst landscape, lies one of the planet's most extraordinary subterranean wonders, Phong Nha Cave. Phong Nha Cave stretches more than 7 kilometres or 4 miles into the earth, ranking among Asia's longest wet caves. Sculpted by the underground currents of the Sun River over millions of years, the cave showcases some of the most remarkable karst features on the planet. Its entrance alone, an enormous arched opening reflected perfectly on the river's surface, creates an iconic, almost mythical scene. Inside, the cave reveals a labyrinth of caverns, echoing corridors and towering formations shaped by water and time. The cave is part of a vast cave system within Phong Nha Bang National Park, a region considered one of the world's richest karst landscapes. The park is home to over 300 caves, including the record-breaking Son Jong and Hang En. Among this astounding collection, Phong Na stands out as the park's original icon and most accessible masterpiece. Along Portugal's dramatic Algarve coastline, where golden cliffs meet the turquoise waters of the Atlantic, lies a natural wonder so photogenic and iconic that it has become a global symbol of coastal beauty. Benagil Cave. Thousands of years of relentless wind and waves sculpted Benagil into a breathtaking amphitheatre of stone. The cave's most famous feature is the massive skylight known as the Eye, carved into the dome above. Sunlight pours through this opening, casting a radiant beam onto the sandy beach and illuminating the cave in brilliant shades of gold, amber, and turquoise. The interplay of light and sea creates a magical atmosphere unlike any other coastal cave in the world. Inside the cave lies one of the world's most beautiful and secluded beaches, accessible only by water. This crescent of soft sand, framed by curved limestone walls and glowing under the skylight's natural spotlight, feels like a secret sanctuary tucked into the cliffs. Benagil Cave has become one of the most photographed natural landmarks in Portugal, and for good reason. It represents the essence of the Algarve: rugged cliffs, crystal-clear waters, and dramatic landscapes shaped by the constant conversation between land and sea. On the remote shores of General Carrera Lake in Chilean Patagonia lies one of the world's most mesmerizing natural wonders, the Marble Caves, a breathtaking network of sculpted caverns carved from pure marble. Unlike typical limestone caves shaped by underground rivers, the marble caves were formed by the gentle, persistent lapping of turquoise glacial water against solid marble over more than 6,000 years. The process smoothed and carved the stone into fluid, rippling forms that resemble frozen waves or swirling brushstrokes across the cavern walls. What sets the marble caves apart from any other cave system in the world is the extraordinary lighting effect created by the glacial waters of General Carrera Lake. The lake's water, fed by melting ice from the surrounding Andes, is a brilliant shade of blue that varies with weather, season, and sediment. The forces that created the marble caves, wind, water, glacial movement, and time, are the same forces that define Patagonia itself. This connection to the wild landscape makes the caves not only beautiful but emblematic of the region's raw and rugged character. Deep beneath the rolling hills and forests of central Kentucky lies a subterranean giant, unlike any other on the planet, Mammoth Cave. With more than 640 kilometres or 400 miles of explored passageways and new sections still being discovered, it is recognised as the longest cave system in the world. No other cave system comes close to Mammoth Cave's sprawling labyrinth. Imagine descents that go deeper than skyscrapers, networks of tunnels that twist like underground rivers, and vast chambers large enough to swallow cathedrals. Its immense size is the result of millions of years of geological processes in the karst landscape of the Green River Valley. The cave system is so extensive that explorers continue to find new passages every year, reinforcing its status as the world's most expansive underground realm. One of its most iconic features is Frozen Niagara, a stunning formation that resembles a frozen waterfall of stone. The cave also boasts multiple layers, sometimes more than 5 stacked levels, representing different stages of underground river activity over geologic time. In recognition of its exceptional natural, geological, ecological and cultural value, Mammoth Cave National Park was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site and later an International Biosphere Reserve.